What's happening, folks? In today's video I'm going to talk about some photo books that I've been enjoying, but first of all I want to talk about an app that I've kind of been enjoying. You may have heard of Clubhouse. It's this like drop-in audio chat app, almost like a chat room from the 90s, but just like talking, and it's live, so there's no recording or like replaying of anything. You just kind of drop into these conversations. You can go up and speak to people as well, and it's a great place for really extroverted people to network and build community, and a lot of the time talk a lot of shit and sell stuff. But that being said, there is a small community of street photographers on there and a few rooms that are pretty useful, and the same sort of people seem to come and go from the same rooms, and so there's this nice little almost tight-knit community of street photographers in there, and it's been a really cool place to kind of build a little network or just like learn other people's processes or hear it. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm comfortable with my own opinions and processes and thoughts on things, but it's always good to hear other people's, because I mean, more knowledge, whether you agree or disagree, can only kind of make you better at that thing and give you more knowledge of it. And just sometimes you hear things sort of worded in a way or linked to something in a way that you hadn't thought about before, so it's pretty cool. The room that I go in most of the time has been, I think it's called the Street Photographer's Room. A guy called Gary Lashmar started it. I'll link his YouTube and Instagram down in the comments, because he started this room and I like listen in every day, so I feel like I should give some credit back to the founder of it. But if you're on Clubhouse, if you're interested in Clubhouse, you should try it. Listen in, see if you can garner some information and make some connections there. Alright, so I think that's all I have to say about Clubhouse for now. Let's get on to the photo books. These books are all ones that I've picked up since the last time I made a video about photo books, and shortly after I made that video I got Alex Webb, The Suffering of Light. Now this was a book that I wanted to get for a long time, and I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger sooner, because it's probably my favourite photo book that I've ever bought. I think it's 12 by 12, which makes it awkward for any bookshelf. This has just sat on tables ever since I got it. The fact that it's so big means that the images are also nice and big, which I think makes it more enjoyable to look at, because they're usually very complex photos, so it makes the work easier to sort of digest. Okay. So they're printed, if I can see this, they're printed nice and big. Means you can take in all the details. These pictures are usually more complex, so I think that lends itself well to being printed large. And it's just a nice paper, and it's just a nice experience of a book to flip through. A lot of the pictures, I would say probably most of them, are single images like that. It's in roughly chronological order. I think it starts in 1979, and the last photo was 2010, so 31 years. And I personally just find it a very inspiring sort of book to look at. He shot mostly 35mm and Kodachrome, I think, is in most of his career, and that's what this book is full of, and it's awesome. Now, sticking with the Alex Webb theme, after buying The Suffering of Light, I kind of moved on to one of his newer books that was a collaboration with his wife, Rebecca Norris Webb, and it's Brooklyn City Within. They shot this over about 5 years before they moved out of Brooklyn. And what I particularly appreciate about this book, first of all, it's smaller, so it fits on a bookshelf, but they've still printed large by sort of spreading it across the pages. And it works quite well, even though some people get annoyed that it splits the picture down the middle. I think they've done it in a way that it doesn't really detract from the picture, and you can pretty much open it up wide enough that it's fine. It doesn't take away from me anyways. But what I like most about this book is that rather than it being shot in exotic places that are completely unfamiliar to me, it's shot in places and scenes that I can sort of relate more to. So I feel like I gained more from this than from The Suffering of Light. You know, this is one of my favorite pictures in this book, and I feel like that could be at almost any neighborhood sort of block party, or you know, like your city events or anything like that. There's just a lot of things that are familiar scenes that you can make more sense of and understand. So I feel like I got more almost out of this book than from The Suffering of Light, even though The Suffering of Light has probably got the better work in it. Just maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because it's from some exotic place that I don't recognize. The other cool thing about this book is, I don't know if it'll focus, but if you can see in the middle, there's this like smaller section, and this is Rebecca Norris Webb's work. She photographed the sort of green spaces of the city, so this is a pretty cool one. So like this, she's photographing, I think this might be in Prospect Park or something, but it's the places within the city that are within, it's called Brooklyn, the city within. So it's Brooklyn's like the city within New York. And then this part is the city within the city within, because it's all the green spaces that are within Brooklyn, or something like that. I'm not very good at articulating this. And it's also accompanied with some of, I think it's her poetry, I assume it's her poetry. And it's just a very cool way of them having this collaborative project and way to structure this book in a unique way. Although the reason I got it was for Alex Webb's work, because I kind of idolize Alex Webb. So yeah, Brooklyn, the city within, very good, for me, educational book. All right, the next one, Wonderland, a fairy tale, what is it called? Wonderland, a fairy tale of the Soviet monolith by Jason Eskenazi. I did not know who Jason was until someone I follow, Paul Harrison on Instagram, who has become a connoisseur of street photography in the year that he's been shooting. But Jason Eskenazi's work, I think throughout maybe the 90s, he took trips to Russia and shot all across Russia to sort of make photographs of the Soviet monolith, I guess. Pictures like this. Very sort of documentary style rather than street style. It's kind of otherworldly. There's like relics of Western society, I guess, mixed in with this sort of landscape and culture that is completely unfamiliar to me. Like, I love this wedding shot. I don't know who that is in the foreground here, maybe parents or something watching the couple come down. And I don't know exactly how to, there's all these pieces of paper in there that I haven't really thrown away, they were just kind of in the book. I don't really know how to articulate the way that the photos in this book make me feel. Like, look at this. It's strange and it's beautiful and it's just kind of oddball, quirky moments like this as well. And you end up with this familiar but unfamiliar human kind of feeling in this book. And I don't know if I'm breaking it down right. There's probably smarter art critics and photography critics that can explain it better than me. But this book is wonderful. It's really cool. And I've actually almost, I don't know if it's supposed to do this or if I'm just slowly breaking it because I'm trying to open it too far. But yeah, I almost, seems like I might have wrecked it already. So yeah, wonderful book. It's part of a trilogy. I haven't seen any of the other books, but if they're half as good as this, then it's great stuff. The next thing is a zine. It's called F8 magazine. It's started by Gareth Danks, who I follow on YouTube, and also Dan Goody. And I don't know if Dan Goody has a YouTube, I think, but he's on Instagram for sure. And what they've done is made this kind of community-driven magazine. So he has a hashtag. He has like people in his community use the hashtag, and they select certain ones to put in the magazine, and they get stories from people about their pictures, and it's on really nice high quality paper, and they do an interview each month, and some of it's kind of like street portraits or regular kind of street photography type stuff. But I'm pretty excited to actually, on the first page, have one of my photos in there. This was from just after moving to Colorado, just down the street from the house that we were renting. It was on a basketball court. Yeah, it's a cool thing to do, sort of like trying to showcase his community's photography and give people exposure to each other, I guess. And I really like this one on the back. It's like different scenes with disembodied looking people, but I think these were on like the moving walkways in an airport. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, F8 Street Magazine, you can find it. Probably just go to Gareth Danks' YouTube channel, and if you're interested. And finally, it's my own magazine. This year's magazine is photos that I took in 2020 and it's also all the profits that I'm making from it this year are going to City of Elderly Love, which is a pet rescue in Philadelphia, and that's where we rescued our dog Munster from. And Munster sadly died in December, but I wanted to give something back to City of Elderly Love, and I thought that sending any of the funds from this year's magazine would have been a good way to kind of honour that, because Munster, in my opinion, helped to make me a better photographer. Taking him walks every day, like this photo here. I carry my camera and I just try and find things that would be interesting as we're going around our walks. You can see that one there. And this was one of the first photos that I liked that I took with the X100V, and one of the reasons that I decided I wanted to keep the camera. So the grey pages that are in this book are ones that I took while walking Munster, this one here. And yeah, for that reason, I think Munster made me a better photographer, because he gave me the excuse slash made me carry my camera every day because I had to go walk him, you know. So yeah, if you're interested, if you follow the channel, if you're interested in my work, 2020 zine, would greatly appreciate it if you have the means and you want to pick one up. Alright, so that's it for this week's video. Hopefully I didn't waffle too much. I'd completely unscripted this, and hopefully I can edit it down to something manageable for people. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know if there's any photo books that you got that are kind of, I don't want to know if you got Robert Frank the Americans. I want to know if you got like an oddball book that I'd maybe never heard of. And yeah, not that there's anything wrong with the Americans though, that's a great book. So alright, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.